Germany has rejected an official request from Washington to send ground troops to northern Syria in order to support the United States' anti-terror operations there. The decision appears to be in line with Chancellor Angela Merkel's position that there is no military solution to the conflict.
We remain convinced that only a political process based on UN mechanisms is capable of ending the bloodshed in Syria, giving the Syrian people the opportunity to decide their country's political future in free elections. Together with the UN and our international partners, Germany will continue its efforts to make real progress.
The US request to Germany was made by a senior diplomat on Friday. He said Washington was seeking military trainers, logistics specialists and technicians to replace some of its personnel, saying they would not necessarily have to engage in direct combat. Despite Islamic State having collapsed, losing all of its territory, America says it is keeping troops in Syrian Kurdistan to maintain security. Well, let's cross live now to Bijan Tavasoli, a member of the Left Party in Germany, for his take. Bijan, I put it to you, was Germany right to reject this request, particularly given the possible consequences for Europe as a whole if ISIL experiences a resurgence in Syria?
Well, the IS has not been defeated by the American military presence. The IS has been defeated by the Russian armed forces and the forces of the legitimate President Assad. And so there is no part in fighting against ISIS there. In fact, it's quite illegal what the Americans did. You cannot just be present in the territory of another country without being invited by its legitimate government. And since Germany has not been invited by President Assad, we cannot just send troops there. So the government was in fact right in its decision not to send troops.
The UK and France have agreed to send more special forces to Syria. Why does Germany's thinking differ to theirs, do you think?
Well, I think the position of Germany's government right now is influenced by the growing peace movement that we have in this country. Just over a week ago, we had a blockade of the US airbase in Ramstein, Germany, where groups from the radical left, but also from religious groups, fought together to stop this airbase from making terrible drone attacks all over the world. And so the peace movement in Germany is a real threat for this government. And this is something that you can see in its policy now. And also, if you look at the elections, the upcoming state elections, where Merkel's party is probably going to lose power, and Merkel's coalition party, the SPD, they are polling at their lowest in over a century. So they are scared of the voters, and rightly so. And German voters don't want any foreign intervention in Syria. German voters want their army to stay here and not to intervene in foreign lands.
Do you think that Germany's rejection of the US request may affect its relationship with the US, and I mean, of course, the Trump administration, how they're going to react to that?
I don't think the Trump administration is going to react positively to it, but because they are so used to getting their way with the German government, especially with Angela Merkel. Angela Merkel has been a patsy of the American governments since George W. Bush. When George Bush wanted German support for the Iraq war, for the illegal Iraq war, then Angela Merkel, who was opposition leader at the time, chastised the German government for not sending troops and for not participating in the coalition that fought the illegal Iraq war. So Angela Merkel is very much in favor of every US president. Even when President Obama was caught red-handedly listening into her calls with the NSA surveillance scandal, she didn't really care. So it is a bit unusual for her not to follow through with any request from Washington. But you have to understand it in the context of the growing peace movement throughout Germany.
Okay, Bijan, very good to get your take as always. Bijan Tavasoli, a member of the Left Party in Germany.